What's going on, guys? Jivin back with another video. If you guys follow my main YouTube, you definitely have heard of my How to Win Arena Games series, and I figured let's make one on the Vibin' Jivin' channel and see how it does. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be breaking down some of my arena dubs, and hopefully it'll help you guys catch more dubs in arena yourself. Before we start off this video, please consider using code JivinTV in the item shop, or at least make sure you're using somebody's code because it helps us out a ton. Now let's get into this video. So we're going to be covering two different playstyles. The first playstyle is really safe, and this will come in handy for when arena points reset and the lobbies are really stacked. And then we'll get into my normal arena playstyle where I take more fights. So as you can see here, I landed at Weather Station and I was uncontested. When the lobbies start getting sweatier and more stacked, I'm going to be playing a lot safer, landing at outskirt spots like this. If you're struggling with early game, I definitely recommend checking out my early game guide for Season 7. Link is in the description. So after I loot up Weather Station, I have really good loot and zone is not too far away. So I decided to push over to Caddy and look for a fight. Because there's not much going on here, I assume there's only one player, and if I win that fight, I have both Caddy loot and Weather Station loot. He jumped off the tires here and caught me off guard, but after I know he's there, I start reading the situation, trying to figure out how to approach this fight. That's the first thing I do in any fight. I try to read the situation, what's going on, is it a build fight, box fight? Then I start looking for angles like I'm doing here. I notice he had this side piece control missing, so I go and get a free shot from there. And then I bait him by just spamming this wall, and I get him to edit on me, get another chip damage, and then I just gotta chase him down, and eventually I get the kill. After that, I start getting in good position in this zone. As you can notice, the zone pulls far to the south, and so usually when it pulls all the way in one direction like this, it pulls there again, so I get into Misty and start looking for fights there. A couple of reasons for this: Misty is dead side of zone. There's not going to be many players rotating here at this point in the game, so if I fight here, I'll only have to fight the people that are on this side of the map, and that lowers your chances of getting third-partied. So I start looking for a fight in Misty, and turns out somebody's here. As soon as I see he's in this building, I don't want to rush in there. I just slowly start breaking in to read the situation, but he goes out the side and starts cranking up. So seeing that, I enter build fight mode. I'm building up to height for a little bit, trying to get him piece controlled, but I couldn't get it, so I paused for a second. I want to read the situation a little more, see how he's going to approach the fight, that way I can counter it. So I see that he's only one layer above me and he's playing pretty safe, so I think this is a great time to take high ground. If I didn't switch to my SMG here, I could have gotten a nice shot with the shotty, but I got a little damage dealt, and then I see that this guy is just an absolute psycho. So I just keep backing up as he's spraying through my builds and going for lever shots on him. I try to get some minis off real quick before he can, and then immediately start pressuring again before he can get his heals off. I get a health advantage, and at this point, I'm just keeping the pressure on until I'm able to pick up that kill. My aim was a little rough there, but we got it. So at this point, I'm missing 50 shields, so I want to try to find a big pot. That way I'm better off for the next fight and for late game. As you can see, the zone pulls all the way over to Slurpee, so while I'm looting and looking for a big pot, that's the direction I'm going. To play this the absolute safest, you'd want to get to the far bottom left side of this zone. That's where the least amount of players are because most people rotate just to the front edge of the zone. But me, I'm pretty kitted at this point, and I see people fighting over here, so I go to push up to this. The one thing you gotta realize is that you're likely gonna get third-partied if you fight in this zone. Especially if it's a big fight like this, people love to roll up on that. If arena points had reset at this point, I would not take this fight because the lobbies are gonna be much sweatier, but it's preseason, so I go and push up here. I didn't even end up getting a kill here because this guy was so slippery, but I found an old loot pile that had 3 big pots, and that made me way more kitted for late game. Another person pushed up shortly after, and we're still in zone, we still have plenty of time till the next zone opens, and so I decided to fight this. But if you really want to play for the dub, disengage from this fight and get to center of this zone. That way you're set up for the next rotate. But I play this fight really well, and I'm able to pick up that kill right here. As I'm rotating, I see people fighting on the edge of zone here, so I decide to get all the way to the opposite edge of zone. That way I can farm up wood on my way to zone and be in the best position. At this point, I see all 3 players that are remaining are over in this fight, and so I get a side angle on them and start applying pressure from there. All these players are like in the middle of fighting each other, so me spraying from the side is just going to make it inconvenient for them to survive. I get some nice hits on this dude, so I push up and I try to finish the fight, but he was slippery and he got away. Now there's only 2 players players remaining, and we're on to the half and half zone. I'm trying to keep pressure on them because I assume they're pretty shambles after all 3 of them fighting there, but I take some damage here, so I just branch out, make sure I'm safe, and heal up. Once I get to max HP and I shoot this recon scanner, I can see that they're starting to fight each other again. So after some thought, I decide to just get ahead of zone. Because they're fighting on the back edge of zone here, they're likely going to get caught in storm, and it's just the freest dub for me if I just hold them. Turns out they stopped fighting each other and now we're all in zone safely, but I'm in a good position. I'm not in the middle of both the players. I'm off to the side, so I'm able to be the third party if they start fighting. So that's my goal. I want them to start fighting, and I'm just going to stay ahead of zone while they do that. Once I get all the way to the front, I just build up to high ground, and I'm not going to lie, I almost get clapped here, but because I played positioning so well, I was in the better position and I still won this. I should have just stayed on high ground the entire fight. That's why I took so much damage there. I thought it was a free dub, and by dropping down, I almost gave up the win. But I built back up to high ground, and once I got back on high ground, because the guy had been fighting so many other players, he didn't have enough mats to keep up, and he just falls and dies. So if you want to play really safe when the arena points reset, take my rotational advice in this game. Do everything I did except for don't go for the fights. Go for positioning, because there's going to be a lot more people alive when arena points reset. And so when you're in a stacked arena game, you want to play a little safer and play entirely on positioning, and you'll be able to pick up some free kills from that. But now let's go on to this next game where I take smart fights all throughout the game. So I land Steamy this game, I hear somebody die out in the middle of the street, so I go for that loot. But I gotta be ready for the guy that killed that player to shoot me. This is worth it because mats are one of the most limited resources off spawn, so getting that extra siphon can put me ahead of the other players there. But I keep looting because I need to find shield before I can fight. Biggest things to find off spawn if you're landing at a POI is shield and a shotgun. Once I get that, I usually start pushing. So I get absolutely fried here. So what I do is I position myself close to the vent, and then I try to get as much shield off as I can. And I wing it and start popping the medkit as well, even though I know I'm probably not going to be able to get it off. Then I take it slow and try to read how aggressive my opponent is. I see him psychoing really hard because he thinks I'm one shot still, which I kinda am, but I take this right hand peek to even the fight a little bit. I saw he was still psychoing and I'm able to finish the fight. So I heal up and I'm pretty kitted at this point, but I see this entire building next to me is not looted. So I decide to go over there and up my loot a little bit before pushing out. But turns out somebody's here and I hear them creeping in the upper levels of this building. So I try to get on the roof, that way I have a height advantage. But he went to the bottom layer, so I try to get a sneaky angle as he comes out. Wasn't able to hit the shot, but I keep the pressure on, trying to get a health advantage in this fight. I hit them from angles they aren't expecting and then piece control from behind cover, and at that point the fight is mine and I just gotta chase him down. I played that really well. When I'm pressuring his wall here, I'm trying to keep track of what his movement's looking like. I see him going up, and so I block him with a cone. I could have placed a wall as well, but I was able to finish it off just with that cone play. So I get over to Orchard here and I look at the map for the first time, and zone is so far. So in a zone like this, I know that it's probably gonna pull again all the way over to Slurpee. But I also know a lot of people are gonna be rotating to the edge that I'm rotating to. So the whole goal is to try to get all the way over to Slurpee, but I might get pushed on the way and I just gotta be ready for that. So I get beamed out of the air a little bit here, and then I base up and I double layer it with a ramp because somebody had a railgun nearby. By double layering, I can protect myself from the railgun. Then afterwards, I just want to scan the area instead of running out in the open blindly. I want to read what's going on around me. I see the dude with the railgun, and look what I did. Clutch, bro. So I go up and push for that loot, but as I'm getting it, somebody else pushes up and tries to fight me for it. And so I start fighting this guy. I want to end this fight as fast as possible, but then I get third partied, and like I said, you know, this is the hottest part of the map, so you gotta look out for third parties here. Everybody just rotated into this area. So I box up for a bit and I'm trying to read the situation, seeing if I can escape or third party the fight. I see an opportunity to strike on this player and I get the quick kill. After I get this, however, I immediately kind of start looking for an escape because I don't want to stay here much longer. So I use the recon scanner to make the players in that area feel a little bit of pressure while I dip on out of there. While I'm rotating, this guy starts pressuring me out here with the railgun, but I'm not trying to fight on edge of zone again. I want to get deep into the zone, that way I'm in the best position. So I collect some mushrooms on the way to zone, that way I can save my big pots once I get in, and I get deep into the heart of this zone, all the way to dead side. So once I get into a zone like this and I'm on dead side of zone, there's nobody around me, I start looking for players that are based up and there's no one around them, because those are the most likely fights that you can take without getting third partied. However, this dude ran for so long in the fight that it took way too long and a third party did show up. But because I have the recon scanner, I can use that to my advantage. I can use the recon scanner to find out when they're fighting, when they're not fighting, when somebody's healing, etc. So I wait for a good opportunity to push, and then I catch this guy off guard and get that kill. And then zone's closing and I have a launch pad, so I'm able to get all the way in. Before I launch though, I want to see if I can get a beam on this other player, because they were in this fight too, and they might be a little bit shambles and might be a free kill, especially since they got scared in the fight and tried to disengage. Sure enough, I got a beam on them, and so I kept the pressure on and I was able to pick up the kill. They were too under pressure to like heal or any of that. They were definitely getting nervous. So next zone, I base up right next to this launch pad just in case that the zone pulls all the way across the map, which it does, so I just use this launch pad right away and get into really good position. Notice how I position myself in this zone. I'm right on the top right of this zone, that way this guy has to rotate right into me. There's no way around it, and so I'm just able to easily hold him and make him a little shambles, if not get the kill. So I burned a lot of his mats, and he was a psycho dude. He just went up to high ground and went for it, and I let him have it because I wasn't trying to throw this game. So the first moving zone pulls right towards me, so I want to get all the way up to high ground, that way I can hold all the players on back edge's zone. It's the alpha positioning, front edge with high ground, game over. But I shouldn't speak too soon because this dude was a psycho and started ramping all the way up to high ground. I could have launch padded to the front side of zone here, but instead I pulled back and just build fought him there. My thought process was he was just fighting on the far edge of zone and then built all the way up to high ground from the backside low ground. So I was like, bro, there's no way he has enough mats to build fight me. So I was just kind of conservative with my mats, paying attention to how many I had. Meanwhile, the other player was not paying attention to his mats and not paying attention to anything other than psycho high ground. So I caught a free dub here. Anyways, I hope this video helps you out. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, use code JivenTV in the item shop, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.